single word that told me not to stay. You watched me build a future while yours was walking away. I trusted the calm in your voice, thought silence meant you cared. But every look you didn't explain was truth you never shared. I wasn't believing blind, I wasn't weak, just true. I kept choosing honesty while you chose what not to do. You let me believe the lie, you didn't have to say it loud. You stayed just close enough to keep my heart around. You let me believe the lie that we were still okay. I would've faced the truth and pain, but you let me stay this way. Where I should've known how love felt colder every time you stopped calling it home. You didn't cheat, you didn't fight, you didn't walk away. You just let me love alone while you slowly slipped away. I could forgive a sudden end, I could forgive goodbye, but staying while your heart was gone, that's how trust quietly dies. You let me believe the lie that effort still meant us. I kept giving everything while you were giving up. You let me believe the lie, and that's what hurts the most. Not that love had to end, but that I loved you close. It's not the lies you never said, it's the truth you let me miss. You don't betray with cruel words, sometimes it's gentler than this. You let me believe the lie, and I believed it on my own. I stayed loyal to a feeling you had already outgrown. You let me believe the lie, but I won't stay blind again. I deserve a love that speaks, not one that just pretends. spoke in circles, soft and slow, like truth was something I shouldn't know. Every answer felt rehearsed, careful words that made it worse. I kept asking what was real, you kept dodging how you feel. I thought time would help us stand, but honesty was never in your plans. You weren't cool, you weren't loud, you just hid behind the crowd of half-truths and second chances I mistook for romance. Honesty was never in your plans. You stayed close but never held my hand. I was building something real while you avoided how you feel. Honesty was never in your plans. That's why nothing felt secure. I would've faced the pain of truth, but you chose something unsure. Never in your plans. That's what hurts. Never in your plans. Just silent words. I noticed how you changed the tone whenever things felt close to home. You smiled when I asked too much, like honesty was asking for a rush. You didn't leave, you didn't fight, you just kept things out of sight. And I stayed patient, stayed kind, while you kept crossing invisible lines. I don't blame you for being afraid, but you let me pay for choices you made. You don't hurt someone by saying no, you hurt them by never letting them know. Honesty was never in your plans. That's why love kept slipping through my hands. I gave you space, I gave you time, while you hid behind I'm fine. Honesty was never in your plans. And now I finally understand. Love can't survive on careful lies or feelings you won't name. It's not the truth that breaks the heart, it's waiting while it falls apart. You don't need lies to do the damage, silence can manage. Honesty was never in your plans, but it was always part of mine. I won't beg for clarity or read between your lines. Honesty was never in your plans. Now I choose to walk away. I deserve a love that's brave enough to tell me the way it's under quiet nights. I let it end. Honesty was never in your plans. Honesty was never in your plans. Honesty. I thought your quiet meant you cared, that you just needed time to breathe. I read patience in every pause and called it loyalty. I waited for the words to come, believed silence had a plan. I didn't know that not speaking was how you let go of my hand. I fill the gaps with hope and faith. Told myself you'd find your way, but every moment you stayed silent. You were slowly walking away. I trusted the wrong silence, thought calm meant something true. I mistook your distance for love you didn't show. I trusted the wrong silence and stayed longer than I should. I would have faced the truth and pain, but silence felt misunderstood. Wrong silence, I believe. Wrong silence, and that was on me. You never said that you were done. You never say you'd stay. You let me guess, you let me wait while feelings slipped away. I ask with eyes, not with demands. You answer with delay. I kept trusting empty space where honesty should have stayed. I don't blame you for needing time. I blame you for letting mine slip away while I stood still, trusting quiet over will. I trusted the wrong silence, and that's the part that hurt. Not the ending we never spoke, but the truth I didn't search. I trusted the wrong silence and paid the cost alone. I stayed loyal to a feeling you had already outgrown. It's hard to know when love is gone. When no one says goodbye, you don't fall apart in moments loud. You fade when questions die. I trusted the wrong silence, but I won't do that again. I listen when my heart feels doubt. Now wait for words that never land. I trusted the wrong silence. Now I choose what's clear and true. I won't confuse love with quiet for someone who won't shoot under still nights. I finally see I trusted silence when I needed honesty. You didn't rush to leave my side. You stayed with comfort, let you hide. You held my hand on fragile days while planning how you'd fade away. I trusted time would make us strong, believed you'd stay and meant belong. But every night you lingered near was one more crack I couldn't hear. I thought your presence meant you cared. The stain proved your heart was there. I didn't see the sun. just long enough to bruise. You stay long enough to break me. Not leaving, not committing to. You let me hope, you let me wait, while knowing what you wouldn't do. You stay long enough to break me. That's why the damage feels so deep. I could have healed from goodbye, but you stayed and let me believe. Long enough, I believe. Long enough to break me. You shared the nights, avoided plans, kept tomorrow out of hands. You said you needed time to feel, while I was loving something real. I asked for truth in simple ways. You answer with another day, and every day you didn't choose. You taught my heart how much to lose. I don't blame fear for what it is. I blame the choice you never made. You don't destroy your heart by leaving. You do it when you hesitate. You stay long enough to break me. Let love become uncertainty. I held on while you stayed unsure. That's how trust learned fragility. You stay long enough to break me. Now I finally understand. Some people stay to feel less guilty, not because they plan to stand. It hurts when effort feels one-sided, when time replaces truth. You don't fall apart in loud mistakes. You fade when love feels used. You stay long enough to break me, but not long enough to stay. I won't confuse presence with love, or patience with delay. You stay long enough to break me. Now I choose to let it in. I deserve a love that knows its heart and chooses me again. Under quiet lights, I finally see. You stay. You stay. To break me. You guarded parts I wasn't meant to see. Rooms in your heart locked quietly. I felt the distance growing thin when question met your silent skin. I offered truth without a shield. You offered half of what you feel. I stood believing we were enough, while secrets weighed more than us. I asked for clarity, not control, for honesty, not your whole soul. But every time I reached for trust, you chose the dark over us. You chose secrets over us, over what we tried to build. but silence spoke the most. I kept believing patience heals, while doubt kept circling the wheel. I loved you in the open light. You loved me behind closed night. I don't need to know it all. Just don't let you be what you stole. You don't protect by concealment. You protect it with a line. You chose secrets over us. That's why trust began to shake. I wasn't asking for perfection, just the truth you wouldn't say. You chose secrets over us, and so we let us fade. I would have stayed through every storm if honesty had stayed. It's not the secrets that hurt the most, it's knowing you made that choice. You don't lose love in one mistake, you lose it when you heard your voice. You chose secrets over us, and now I finally see love can't grow where truth is scared to breathe honestly. You chose secrets over us, so I choose to let it go. I deserve a love that meets me clear, not one I'll never know. Under quiet skies, I set us free. You chose secrets, and I chose me. You showed me someone warm and kind, a careful smile, a gentle mind. I held on to the way you spoke, like honesty was never a joke. But slowly cracks began to show. In moments you avoided alone. I love the calm you let me see, not knowing who you'd really be. I trusted what you let me find, ignored the parts you left behind. I called it love, I called it fate, while truth was learning how to wait. I fell for the version you pretended, the one who stayed, the one who cared. I built my heart around a promise that was never really there. I fell for the version you pretended, and that's what hurts the most. Not losing you, but losing what I thought I loved so close. Pretended I believed, pretended, and that's on me. You never said you weren't the one, you just let me think you were. I filled the silence with excuses, told myself love was unsure. You kept the mask on just enough to keep my heart involved. I kept choosing who you showed, while who you were dissolved. I could forgive a sudden truth, I could forgive goodbye, but loving someone who never existed, that's a harder lie. I fell for the version you pretended, the parts you wanted me to see. I gave my trust to a reflection, not the reality. I fell for the version you pretended, and now I finally know. Some people don't lie with their words, they lie with what they show. It's not your fault I chose to stay, but it's not mine you walk this way. You let me love a shadow of you, while the real you never grew. I fell for the version you pretended, but I won't blame my heart. I loved honestly and fully, you played a careful part. I fell for the version you pretended, now I choose what's real for me. I won't fall in love again with who someone pretends to be. Under quiet lights I finally see I fell for you. But not who you were. And I did every time. Now honesty feels empty without a future. I showed up every time you fell, stayed honest when it wasn't well. I chose patience over pride while you kept parts of you aside. I fought for us in quiet ways, believed in more than words you'd say. If love was tested, love survived. It wasn't love that said goodbye. I searched our past for what went wrong, but love was never where you'd gone. I gave my heart the best I could. You just didn't do what you should. Love didn't fail, you did. I gave it truth, you hid. I stayed real, I stayed kind, while you crossed invisible lines. Love didn't fail, you did. I kept my word, you quit. I could have healed broken plans, but not a heart that wouldn't stand. Didn't fail, I know now. Didn't fail, you chose out. I listened when you needed space, trusted time would fix the breaks. I carried hope through every doubt while you were already halfway out. You called it fear, you called it fate.